if the Home Secretary wishes to say anything further to the point of order, but she doesn't. So
we all remember what that was about in the House of Commons on Monday, where Suella Braverman would not get up to admit that she had told a bit of a fib. But anyway, hello there, and do up her all well. Now, after being called out in a point of order by Labour's Yvette Cooper and Chris Bryant on Monday, our leaky Sue must have thought nothing more would have been said, nothing more would have been done about her little indiscretion. Well, after PMQs and all that, she must have thought she got out unscathed. But oh, no. Point of order, Yvette Cooper.
Point of order, Yvette Cooper.
Yes.
Thank you, Madam Deputy Speaker. On Monday, the Home Secretary gave inaccurate information to Parliament when she said the asylum initial decision backlog is down 17,000. Now, the asylum initial decision backlog is clearly defined by the Home Office as the total backlog of initial decisions before and after June of last year, and the Home Office figures show that it has gone up from 132,000 to 137,000 for main applicants since the beginning of December, and it has gone up from 160,000 to 172,000 for all applicants in the first quarter of this year. On either measure, that backlog is up and not down. I raised this as a point of order on Monday, and the Home Secretary refused to correct the record then. I have written to the Home Secretary this morning, but still heard nothing back. And the Ministerial Code requires that ministers give accurate and truthful information to Parliament, correcting any inadvertent error at the earliest opportunity. I know the Home Secretary has a history of breaching the Ministerial Code, but, Madam Deputy Speaker, would you agree that facts matter, that it is not acceptable for ministers to fail to correct the record if they have given inaccurate information to Parliament? And have you heard from the Home Secretary about her intention to come and correct the record?
I thank the Right Honourable Lady for her point of order. As has been said before, and I think this was said when she raised the point of order yesterday, it's obviously not for the Chair to adjudicate in cases of differing interpretations of statistics. That said, if a minister has made a mistake in the House, I would, of course, expect them to correct it. The Right Honourable Lady has put her perspective on the record. Ministers will have heard it, and I am sure the Home Secretary will reflect on whether a correction is required in this case. And I can see the whip is writing down the fact that this will be fed back, and I'm sure that ministers will do the same.
I'll spare a thought for poor Emily Thornberry, having my fat lump sat on her lap. No wonder she didn't look happy. But anyway, now I get the feeling that she probably has a point about forcing MPs to come back and correct the record, but there was no difference in interpretation of these statistics, is there? Leaky Sue was basically telling a flat-out lie, wasn't she? But with our Suella Blabbermouth not notifying the Chair when she will come back and correct the record, she clearly thinks that she will just get away with it. Well, point of order, Thangam Debbonaire.
Point of order, Thangam Debbonaire.
Thank you, Mr Deputy Speaker, and I rise on a point of order about communication today between the Shadow Home Secretary and the Home Secretary. Now, just a quick recap. On Monday, the Home Secretary gave what I understand to be inaccurate information to Parliament when she claimed that the asylum decision backlog is down by 17,000 since the Prime Minister's statement. However, this contradicts what the Home Office published statistics say, and they seem to make it very clear that the asylum initial decision backlog, and it uses those precise words, has actually increased from 131,292 to 137,583 for the main applicants since the end of November, and from 160,919 to 172,758 for total applications in the first quarter, clearly an increase. Now, the Shadow Home Secretary raised this with the Home Secretary first in this House on Monday. The record has not been corrected by the Home Secretary then or since, to my understanding. My right honourable friend then wrote to the Home Secretary this morning. So can I ask, Mr Deputy Speaker, if you have received any notification from the Home Secretary of her intention to correct the record since Monday's statement? And could you confirm that the Ministerial Code does require that ministers give accurate and truthful information to Parliament, correcting any inadvertent error at the earliest opportunity? Thank you, Mr Deputy Speaker.
Thank you very much, and I thank the honourable lady for notice of her point of order in response to question 1, no. Question 2, yes. But as she knows, it's been noted before, ministers are responsible for the content of their answers, and it's not a matter for the chair, therefore. But the government bench will have heard her concerns, and the Table Office can advise further on how she and other members may be able to pursue that point.
So by Thursday, Leaky Sue still hadn't contacted the chair to tell if she will correct the record. Also, I think Thangam Debbonaire being a little bit too kind on our Home Secretary, saying it's an inadvertent error. I would just call it flat out lying, if I'm honest. Now, I read an article about the claim made by our Home Secretary, Suella Braverman, saying that the backlog of asylum initial decisions have been reduced by 17,000. However, the article points out that this claim is misleading because the total number of asylum cases waiting in initial decision was actually increased since December 2022, as both Yvette and Thangam Debbonaire both said. The Home Office clarified that the 17,000 figure refers to the backlog of initial decisions of asylum applications made before June the 28th, 2022. But this was not made clear in Braverman's comments. When challenged in her claim, I think that would have been Neil Coyle, wouldn't it? Braverman stated that they are working on reducing the backlog of initial decisions and the legacy backlog, referring to decisions that have been waiting in the system up until June or July in the previous year. Now, this is not the first time the government has made potentially misleading claims about the asylum backlog. The article also highlights previous instances where the government failed to provide evidence for reducing the backlog and made comments about the backlog under the previous Labour government. Yes, we've heard a few of them, haven't we? The article emphasises the importance of providing accurate and transparent information, as the misuse of official data without appropriate context can harm public trust in both official information and politicians. It also suggests that the ministers should correct false and misleading claims made in Parliament promptly, as they've been trying to get her to do for God knows all week, haven't they? Now, regarding Braverman's claims, the Home Office directed the article's inquiry to a press release stating that the backlog of legacy cases had decreased by over 17,000 since December 2022. However, the figures in the release are based on incomplete monthly data related to the illegal migration bill. Yeah, it says a lot. Illegal migration, because let's be honest, it is illegal. While the number of legacy cases awaiting an initial decision has decreased, the overall backlog of all cases awaiting an initial decision has increased. And the article also notes that the figures in the data set provided by the Home Office differ from the official quarterly migration data published by the government. The official data shows an increase in cases awaiting an initial decision between December 2022 and March 2023. The Home Office acknowledges that the data published is provisional and not cleansed to remove duplicates. The government's use of the term backlog in asylum statistics have been under scrutiny as it has been used inconsistently. Ministers have used the term to refer only to asylum applications awaiting to be resolved before June 28th, 2022, which has caused confusion about the specific figures they are referring to. And overall, the article highlights the need for accurate and transparent reporting of asylum statistics and urges ministers to provide clear and correct information to maintain public trust. And I will leave that in the description box below for you to read. It's pretty good. Now, I'm just wondering if the opposition parties will carry on with these points of orders next week. Now, that would be very interesting to say the least, wouldn't it? But anyway, what do you guys think? Let me know down below. Also, have a stupendous weekend, my friends, and until the next time, I shall bid you farewell and take care, my friends.